Good evening from my beautiful, beautiful shoreline bird trail in Mountain View, California. Just look how beautiful it is. Look at this beautiful sun. And we're all part of it. This always just blows my mind how divine everything is in this world and in this universe. How majestic and mesmerizing this beauty of this earth and this universe, and how all of it just works together. It just blows my mind all the time I see this. But anyway, hello. I want to continue sharing my story. And remember, last time I stopped at realization that I was being judgmental. I knew I was judging her, but I didn't feel I was doing anything wrong. Hold on, let me turn around. This is too sunny. Much better. And so I started kind of trying to figure out what was going on with me and why this conflict is so painful. And I started going more inward. I started asking myself, why am I so bothered with people when they don't say the truth? Where's this coming from? Why? Who cares? Because I started looking at other people and I noticed nobody cared. So I kept asking myself, why do you care? Why do you get upset when people are telling you a lie? And I remember I was taking a shower and I just kept asking the same question. I just kept saying, why? Who cares? And I actually cussed. I said, why do you fucking care that, this person is lying to you in this shape or form, like in the behavior or whatever? And then it just came to me. The answer came to me. And I started crying in the shower because I knew that was my answer. The answer is that this was the trigger. When something untruthful was told to me, it would trigger something inside of me, inside of my emotional body, inside of my mental body. What was that? It was that same story when I learned about my father. Because remember, up until I was 18, I was believing that story that my father is working abroad and he's coming to me. And then all of a sudden the truth came out. So the untruth became truth, the lie became transparent, and that's exactly what was happening in this case. It was my trigger. Anytime people were not honest with me, truthful with me, lying to me, that was my trigger. So I just started crying. I realized that this was about the lie, and then I just get triggered. So as I started crying in the shower, I knew that was part of it, and then I started going more inward, and then I kept saying, then what's next? What is this lesson? Why do I have to go through this? And I just kept kind of asking myself. So I was honestly looking for my answers, and then it came to me again, because in one of the emails that I wrote to this friend, I was just, all of a sudden I felt like I should have, I should be explaining her feelings to her. And I was just trying to tell her, oh, I think you're doing this because, it must be hard to grow up without one parent. And you are maybe doing this behavior because you want to be liked. You are like this little girl who wants to be loved and so forth. And again, how dare I was saying all those things, but again, I didn't know at that time. So I just was, was telling what I felt. And so then my answer came to me again. All of a sudden, I saw myself in what I was telling her. I actually saw myself as a little girl longing for that love, longing for that acceptance, longing to be liked. So when we want to be liked and loved, we actually behave that way. We do everything and anything so for the people to like us. And so that's why we don't know how to say no. We want to do everything right, so people like us. So I started seeing myself in what I was actually telling her. I was thinking about her. So that was my mirror. And I didn't know anything about mirrors at that point. I just started to become more aware of that whatever I was telling her, it was actually about me. I was also not authentic. I was also behaving always super nice and super kind to people. People would always tell me, oh, you're so sweet, you're such a sweet lady, and this and that. But then it's not that I'm not, but it was inauthentic. I was wearing a mask. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. And where was this coming from? Because I was waiting for my father who never came. That's where that untruth, that belief system was formed. That I was not good enough for my father to come. Isn't it all like kind of crazy how it all kind of gets formed? Because now when I listen to this is so insane. This is like all untrue. But that's how it all gets formed in our minds, in our emotional bodies. So the trigger of untruth pointed me to why I was reacting this way, because that untruth, when it became truth, it was painful, and then it pushed me further in to figure out why this story about her, how dare do I tell her all these things about her? I started questioning that, and then boom, I saw me. It was me. That's when I learned that whenever we judge others, that's actually what we don't like in ourselves. Whatever we're judging in others, that's what we don't want to look at in ourselves. And that was just the beginning. I was just getting to the tip of the iceberg in that area. But at least it came into my awareness. And there was a huge breakthrough. I remember I was crying in the shower. It was super painful. I didn't realize how beautiful and powerful this lesson was at that time. I was, for months I was anxious and just crying and couldn't sleep, and I didn't know what to do. And remember, I told you I was chasing her for forgiveness. Guess why I was doing that? Because I wanted to be liked. I wanted to prove to myself that I am good. I was trying to say, I am good. How come she's not forgiving me? How come I want to be liked? That was also part of that lesson. So learning to realize that when you apologized and you said sorry and just accepted that people will not accept your apology, that was a huge breakthrough too. That I cannot make people like me. So I was trying to be liked. There was another, like a light bulb came on, and it was all coming in little pieces. All these mini revelations started opening to me as I was digging deeper and deeper into my own soul, into my own emotions, into my emotional body, into my mental body. Where were all these untruths formed? Where were they coming from? What is this all about? And I just started thinking more about this. Crying, purging. It was huge cleanse. The emotions were pouring out of me. And remember, it's normal. All emotions are valid. Do not suppress anything in yourself. Do not look at it with shame or guilt. It's all valid. Your emotional body needs to purge this. It's layers and layers, years and years of accumulated stuff that you never even looked at. You were suppressing all of this. You were ashamed of this. You don't want to see it in yourself. Because that's just how we are. But the only way to heal is to bring it into your awareness. Ask yourself, what is this about? So you're exploring. The next step, you will be understanding. The next step, you will start forgiving. You will be releasing. You will be healing yourself. You will be purging. And so when you do that, when you actually clear it out of yourself, you will find compassion towards others. And when you do this full circle, you will become your master. You will be doing it with any single trigger that's triggering you. You will be doing the same step. You will take responsibility for, this feeling is telling me something. Let me go inward. Let me figure out, what is this telling me about? And that's just how this works. This is what this all is about. You are your own hero. You are your own healer. You are your own best friend. That's how you come out of this vicious cycle. You become transparent to your own self. You face everything that's coming up with love, compassion, non-judgment. That's what this is about. I hope it helped. Blessings on your healing journey.